Welcome to Manifested Publishers.
How do you do? Welcome to our today's lesson. I'm your teacher, Conan Gakure. Today we are going to have a lesson in history and government. The topic is international relations. And the subtopic that we are tackling, we are handling the Commonwealth as an international organization. And in our today's lesson, we are going to learn about the challenges. The challenges facing the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth organization. The challenges that face the Commonwealth organization. As I mentioned in our previous lessons, we defined the Commonwealth as an association of independent states. It is an association, countries that come together to relate with one another, of independent states who are colonies or who are under the British Empire, that is the Commonwealth. And we have discussed that members of this organization are on a voluntary basis. They decide to become members. They are not coerced, or it is not automatic. Though they were colonies or they were part of the British Empire, but they have been given an opportunity to decide to become members of the Commonwealth or not. We also were able to learn about the functions of the Commonwealth. We also learned about the organization, how the Commonwealth is organized, and then we also learned about their achievements as an international organization. And do not forget, the biggest reason why this organization was instituted is to make sure that it would make its impact by maintaining international peace and security immediately because of the results of the Second World War. So there was need to have international peace. So in our today's lesson, learner, we are going to learn about the challenges facing the Commonwealth. A challenge is a shortcoming or a problem. A challenge can also be referred to as a problem. A limitation that faces the Commonwealth as an organization as it discharges out its duties. We said it, apart from maintaining world peace, it also helps the poor nations to remodel their economies, right? It also provides technical knowledge. It also engages itself in maintaining education and education system. So it has so many involving activities that it undertakes. So what are the challenges, or what problems, what limitations face the Commonwealth in the discharge of its mandate or its functions? That is what we are going to learn in our today's lesson. And the first shortcoming, or the first weakness that is seen, is the lack of enough funds. They lack enough funds. They do not have enough funds to facilitate their activities. Remember, they rely on donations by members, and members give these donations based on their population and the strength of their economies. So the poor countries are not able to contribute enough to the running of the Commonwealth. So that becomes a challenge, because the weak economies are unable to regularly give contributions to run the Commonwealth organization. So that is a very big challenge, because it cannot now reach all the member states because of the limited funds that they have. Number two, national interests. National interests, or you can refer to that as nationalism. So most of the member countries are concerned with the affairs of that state. They are concerned with affairs of individual states. So states are concerned with their own affairs. That is opposed to the Commonwealth ideals or the Commonwealth considerations. So when a country is committing itself to giving or performing in the Commonwealth, they first have to consider their own countries. We have to create our own economy before we go and try to help other economies. That is another challenge that is faced by the Commonwealth. The third one is ideological differences. Ideological differences. These brings about misunderstanding. So when ideologies are not led or are not common, this brings about misunderstanding. So the ideological differences brings about misunderstandings. And remember, we said during the Heads of States Summit, for a decision to be made, the Commonwealth requires, or the Heads of State Summit requires a consensus by all the members. So now imagine when the belief system or the ideologies of countries are at loggerheads. Is it easy for those nations to get into a consensus? So it becomes very hard. So when the ideological differences rise, or when an issue is viewed in different ideological point of view, it brings misunderstanding, and some nations are unable to agree on a specific policy that is about ideological differences. And then number four, the fourth challenge is that members are membership to other organizations. So the members of the Commonwealth are also members of other organizations, regional organizations, and also international organizations. So you'll find out that most of the members of the Commonwealth are also members of the United Nations. Some of the members of the Commonwealth are also members of the African Union, the AU. Some of the members, apart from being members of the Commonwealth, are members of the European Union. Apart from being members of the Commonwealth organization, some of the members are also members of the Common Market of Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, and so on and so forth. So you find that that members have now divided attention because they are members of more than one organization. So you find, for example, let's get an example of Kenya as a member of Commonwealth. You find Kenya is also a member of the United Nations. It has its own requirements. It is also a member of the COMESA. It is also a member of the East African Community. So you find Kenya will not now fully devote her resources or her interest in serving the Commonwealth because she has requirements in other organizations. So that is another shortcoming that really brings or inhibits the Commonwealth in discharging her mandates. Apart from that, there has been frequent civil wars. Frequent civil wars among member countries. This has distorted or has derailed the activities of Commonwealth because now they have to consider and be engaged in civil warfare that is happening in their member countries. Apart from the civil wars, there are border conflicts. That is number 6. There are border conflicts. There are border conflicts that affect the working of the Commonwealth. Most of the members of the Commonwealth have border conflicts against one another. So even when they come to discuss on international matters, they have issues amongst themselves because of the border lying issues. An example is a country that is India and Pakistan. They have a long running, they are members of the Commonwealth, and they will come to be discussing about peaceful coexistence. But they themselves as nations, India and Pakistan, you'll find they have border issues amongst themselves. Apart from that, they lack enforcement. They lack enforcement machinery. So whenever a decision or a policy has been made by the summit, right, they are unable to enforce them because they do not have an army. They do not have an army to enforce those policies. They only rely on the goodwill of the members to provide their soldiers or to provide their armies to enforce the policies that they have accepted. And then apart from that, that is number 7. The next point, the colonial injustices. The colonial injustices that had been performed against the colonies also inhibit their commitment to the Commonwealth. So they have a feeling that they need to be compensated because of the injustices that had been done. So, for example, the British are unable to correct the injustices they had done onto these other members. Apart from then the next shortcoming or the next challenge is racial discrimination. There are still traces of discrimination based on race. Some countries have imposed restricted movements for certain races in their area. So these brings a feeling of discomfort among the members. And then lastly, the Commonwealth is dominated by domination by foreign powers. Foreign powers or developed. Actually, developed is the better term to use as opposed to foreign. Developed is the better term to use. Allow me to use that word. Domination by developed countries. So those countries that are developed and they have better economies tend to dominate the decision making because they are providing finance. We said that the Commonwealth is run by donations or by money that is provided by members. So those countries that are developed, those countries that are more developed than the others, they provide more finance. And as they provide finance, they tend to dominate policy making. So when the policy is being made, they tend to bully. Indirectly, they bully the other powers because they do not have the financial muscle. So those are some of the challenges that are being faced by the Commonwealth as an international organization. So that is all we can discuss about the Commonwealth. Remember, we have talked about its membership, we have talked about its formation, its organization, its achievements, and now its challenges. So as we end our lesson today, this is a revision question. A revision question. And the question is, discuss the problems being faced by the Commonwealth in the discharge of her mandate. The question is, discuss the problems being faced by the Commonwealth in the discharge of her mandate or her functions. And with that, student, we have come to the end of our lesson today. Bye-bye.